And welcome back again. I say that because this is my second attempt at recording this episode. The first attempt was a complete failure because I had managed to forget to plug in the microphone. So it was all silent movie time. And I didn't care for that, so I've scrapped that footage and we'll just pick up from where I'm at and I'll catch you up as I go. The first thing is that I have replaced the lever with a push button because there's no need for this to be on any more than the time it takes for the sugarcane to be harvested, which is just the pistons push out and then retract, so that's fine with that. Let's see, one other thing I've done. There was a suggestion in the comments recently that I should replace the half slab that I had in here with a pressure plate, and I've gone ahead and done so. Although honestly, aside from the fact that it looks a little different, I don't really see a whole lot of why it should be that way. But that's okay. I figured I'd give it a shot and put that in there and see if it made any difference or if it's just a matter of aesthetic value and how it looks and so on. And yes, I am going to, the next time I harvest, I'm going to put mushrooms in a hollow space under the seed rows with the idea that that will speed things up a little bit. And I have begun work on a building to put around this reed farm. I've got some of the outer sandstone walls in place, and that's about the size of it. I do think that I'm going to run short of sandstone because that's all I have at this base, and that's after having converted all the sand that I've found in storage as well. So okay, let's see. Let's build up a little bit of a frame here for where the glass is going to be on top. Yes. I'm going to have the sandstone walls, and then I'm also planning on a 3-block wide glass skylight over the plantings. One of the things I like about working with sandstone is that if I make a mistake, it breaks easily. Like that. That's probably about the third or fourth time I've fallen off of that wall. And each time it gets to be a little bit more of a pain in the butt because there's more of it. But that there is a temporary step. Oh, well, that is a fail. I don't know why it is, but every time I attempt to do, well, almost every time that I attempt to do this back up and lay it down really fast trick, I end up making a mess. And so I end up having to go ahead and do it the slow way, because while it may be slow, it at least gets the job done. Alright, hang on here. I have got to get up on that thing. Yeah, you see everywhere that dips down one, the wall is supposed to dip down one. And I think I missed one here. Huh? Apparently we're good to go. I am failing all over the place today. Okay. Alright. I'm going to grab some daylight, and then I'm going to finish up putting up as much sandstone as I have, and I will catch up with you when I've gotten that done. And I'm back. And I have gone as far as I can with the supply of sandstone that I had. I've gotten enough of it done that the overall profile of the building should be obvious by now. Didn't really want this extra part here, but because of this circuit bridge here, I kind of need it. I guess the alternative would be to dig down under the building and run it down there, and I may try to do that, but in either case, whether I do that or not, I am going to need to scout out a place to mine some sand and or sandstone so that I can continue. And right now, the one place I know where I can get sand and sandstone is up north, so it's time to hop a minecart up north and get to mining sand. And because mining sand is so incredibly exciting, I just know that nobody's really going to want to watch me do that, so I'll catch up with you when I have mined enough sand to be useful. And I'm back. And what was originally supposed to be a quick cutaway during which I would spend about an hour working up north mining up the necessary sandstone and sand to make more sandstone turned into well over a whole day of delay, as I was afflicted with a rather serious toothache situation, which in my case has a tendency to turn into a migraine. And so I'm finally back. Still not doing as well as I'd like, but certainly a lot better than yesterday. And one of the things that I have already addressed is something in a comment recently, and I cannot remember at this point who it was that said it or what exactly they said, and frankly at this moment I can't honestly be bothered to look it up. The implication was basically that a redstone signal will only travel 60 blocks from the player. And so, given that, I decided to run a little test on a test world. And now I present you with that test video. And while you watch that, I will continue to work on this structure. Okay, I've arranged a simple test here. As you can see, I have a piston, and on top of that piston's extended plunger, I have got 12 sand stacked. Now, normally, if you go to the other end of the redstone here and you flip a lever 12 times and come back, you should find all 12 pieces of sand out in front of the piston. And what's a little different this time is that the line of redstone is 6 stacks of redstone. That's 384 blocks long. Then, of course, there's repeaters as needed to keep the signal going. And the idea here is that if redstone signal cannot travel 300 blocks from the player, then when I go to the other end of this line of redstone and flip the lever several times and come back, all of the sand should still be on top of the piston. And so now let's have a walk over here to the other end of 6 stacks of redstone. And I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. Alright, here we are. Simple arrangement here. A block with the redstone coming out of it and a lever on that block. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip this lever a bunch of times, and then we'll go back to the piston and see if the signal has actually gone 384 blocks. Alright, now we'll take the walk back to the other end of this line and see what happened. Again, I'll be speeding this up. And there you have it. All of the sand, which was on top of the piston, is now lined up out in front of it. And that tells me that a redstone signal will indeed travel 384 blocks from the player, at least. Perhaps I ought to do another test sometime with a much longer run of redstone. But I know it will go at least 384 blocks, which is 6 stacks of redstone straight out, with repeaters, which actually makes it a little more than 384 blocks, actually. Interesting. It definitely goes a lot further than even I thought it would, as I figured it would go about 300 blocks and stop. And now back to your regularly scheduled Minecraft episode. And I'm back. And the building is now completed. I figured the next thing I want to do around here is, especially off in this area and around here in the beach, is to do a bit of landscaping. But first, let's have a look up close at the new reed farm. And by the way, I realized that this extra hump upwards, or whatever you want to call that, is not actually strictly necessary, because I could have redone some of the redstone to avoid that having to be done like that. I decided to go ahead and leave it like that because I think it kind of gives the building a little bit of character. Okay, I've gone ahead and installed some storage chests here, and let's go ahead and hit the harvest. Let's see, I don't have any of these reeds in my inventory, so we'll get a good look at it here. I figure there is going to be a certain amount of lost material in stuff that is floating on the ledges there, because it gets pushed all the way across the water by the pistons. But it's not too big a deal, it's not too serious, and frankly, to be perfectly blunt, I've already got more of this stuff than I'm probably ever going to use, but what the heck. I'm not going to concern myself with the little bit that's still up there. It's probably about almost another 20 or 25 pieces, but I'm not going to worry about it. Instead, I'm just going to harvest every now and then, store it in these chests, and there will never be a shortage of paper in the Empire again. Alright. Now that that's completed, I think it's probably well overdue for a little bit of landscaping. Like, for example, for one thing, this needs to be filled in, because I've walked off into that enough times that I'm thoroughly done with it. So I'm going to go ahead and drop some sand in there. And this particular little hazard will no longer be one. And I should say that if for any reason I don't quite sound quite like myself, it's because while I am much more able to function now than I was yesterday, I am still riding some painkiller, And hydrocodone can slow you down just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and fill this in too. Alright. Fine. I'll change that out for sand or dirt another time. Right now, I just want it filled in. The main idea here is that there's enough things to fall off of around here. I don't need to have the beach be one of them. And I am going to have to mine up a whole bunch more sand to finish filling out this beach. But this will at least take the worst of the hazard out of it. And I'm also going to need to, or maybe I don't need to, but I want to do a little bit of landscaping up here. Level this out so that the rest of the area up here is even with this. And maybe put down some half slabs in strategic places so that I can kind of cut to a minimum the amount of jumping and bouncing around that's necessary to get from one place to another around here.